Beginning the invasion. Captain Elena Voss had faced countless battles across the galaxy. Her fleet had survived ambushes by plasma-shielded marauders, gravitational storms, and even rogue AI drones. Yet nothing prepared her for the Morrathian War Queen, the ruler of a species feared for millennia, whose army had just descended upon the outer colonies of Sector 9. The Morrathians were massive, exoskeletal warriors, their armor black and jagged, etched with glowing crimson lines that pulsed like blood through veins. Their queen, Thrissa, was a myth whispered among war councils. Legends claimed her strength surpassed 10 of her strongest soldiers combined, and that no one had ever seen her face beneath the obsidian armor. Elena's orders were clear: repel the assault, protect the colonies, and, if possible, capture the queen alive for intel. But no one expected what would happen next. Her fleet engaged. Energy cannons lit up the sky like dying stars. The Morrathians moved with precision, unstoppable coordination, and terrifying speed. Elena's soldiers fought bravely, but they were outmatched. Even the most advanced human ships were shredded under the Queen's command. Then the impossible happened. Elena's flagship, the SS Horizon, was surrounded. A massive Morrathian dreadnought opened fire, slicing through the shields. Elena grabbed the comm. "Brace for impact," she shouted. And then, from the enemy fleet, a single ship detached. It moved through the chaos with uncanny agility, weaving between missiles and energy blasts. Elena's tactical HUD lit up, the Queen's personal vessel. Thrissa's voice boomed over comms, distorted and commanding. "Humans fragile. Surrender, and perhaps I will grant mercy." Elena clenched her jaw. Not a chance. The first encounter. Hours later, both fleets had sustained massive damage. Elena's flagship limped into orbit around a devastated colony, hiding among the debris. That's when she noticed a single Morrathian ship approaching, the Queen herself, unaccompanied. Elena prepared the boarding party. If she wanted intel, she had to see the Queen up close. It was madness, but madness had never stopped humans before. The Queen's vessel landed near the colony surface. Elena and a team of elite soldiers prepared for boarding. They breached the airlock and were met with silence. Too quiet. The interior of the Morrathian ship was a labyrinth of dark corridors and glowing red veins. Elena's team proceeded cautiously. And then they saw her, Thrissa, the War Queen, standing in the command chamber, armor still glowing faintly. "Drop your weapons," she demanded. Her voice was rough, alien, and unexpectedly calm. Elena didn't move. "We're here to talk. Or we can fight." Thrissa's eyes glowed beneath the helm. "Talk. Humans understand nothing but violence. But perhaps you will surprise me." Then, with a sound that echoed like metal tearing, Thrissa began removing her armor. Plates clattered to the floor, revealing a lean, humanoid form beneath. Her skin was pale violet, scarred from countless battles, but her eyes were filled with intelligence, sorrow, and a weight that no warlord should bear. Elena stepped back. Her soldiers, trained to see aliens as monsters, were silent. "I am not a monster," Thrissa said softly. "Not entirely. My people expect me to be unfeeling, ruthless, merciless. I am all of these things, but I am also something else." The reveal. Thrissa moved closer, unarmed, her armor discarded. "You see only the warrior. You never see the Queen behind the war mask. My armor is not a shell, it is a cage." Elena's calm buzzed. "Captain the fleet." "Quiet," Thrissa said. "If you listen, you might understand." She explained. Her species had been engaged in a millennia-long war against a foe that no one could defeat. Entire worlds burned, generations wiped out. To survive, the queen had to become the symbol of fear itself. Her armor, her ruthlessness, all performance, all survival. But the war took its toll. She was exhausted, broken. And when humans attacked, she saw something she hadn't expected: curiosity and courage instead of fear. Elena's instincts told her this was an opportunity. Humans thrived on risk, on negotiation, on understanding the enemy. Why tell me this? Elena asked. Because humans fight differently, Thrissa said. You don't fight because you must, you fight because you choose. You may be fragile, but you are dangerous. You are the apex of unpredictability, and that terrifies me. The test. Elena realized the moment was dangerous. Her soldiers had the orders: capture or kill. But she also sensed the queen's honesty. Thrissa proposed a challenge. If you can survive my test, you may leave this chamber alive. Fail, and your people will pay the price. Elena accepted. The test began in the simulated arena, a room capable of mimicking the fiercest battles in the galaxy. Thrissa's combat skills were unmatched. Elena dodged energy strikes, countered with precise maneuvers, and relied on ingenuity rather than brute force. Hours passed. Neither yielded. Sweat and energy flares illuminated the chamber. Then Elena noticed something, a pattern in Thrissa's attacks. Instinct. Choice. Hesitation. She exploited it. Elena feinted, rolled under a strike, and tapped a pressure node on the floor, triggering the arena's safety override. The queen froze, shocked. Elena lowered her weapon. We could continue, but I think you've proven your point. Thrissa smiled faintly, almost imperceptibly. And you have survived. Not because you are stronger, but because you're clever. And because you are human. The turning point. With the battle over, Thrissa revealed the colony's true plight. Her species had been exhausted by war, and many civilians were dying from famine and bombardment. The Queen's warriors had attacked not out of cruelty, but desperation. Elena made a bold proposal. If we work together, we can stabilize your colony, feed your people, rebuild your ships, and prevent further slaughter. Thrissa paused, eyes narrowing. Trusting a human was dangerous. But she saw the courage in Elena's gaze. Something she hadn't seen in centuries. Hope. The two began a secret collaboration. Human engineers worked with Morrathian architects, blending technology in ways neither species could achieve alone. Supplies flowed. Civilian casualties dropped. The galaxy's perception of humans as fragile creatures shifted once again. The bond. Weeks later, when the colony was stabilized, Thrissa invited Elena to her council. You have done more than survive, the Queen said. You have changed the path of my people. You have proven humans are not weak. That unpredictability, courage, and compassion can be as lethal as any weapon. Elena responded, and you have shown that even the fiercest warriors have truths they hide. Strength isn't always in armor. The Queen nodded. Perhaps humans and Morrathians are not so different. We fight to survive, we fight to protect, and we fight for choice. I trusted you with a truth I have never shared, and you honored it. Ending the legacy. The story spread through the galaxy. A human had survived the Morrathian War Queen's test. A human had seen her without armor and judged her actions, not appearances. A human had changed the fate of an alien colony and earned the Queen's trust. Elena returned to her fleet, hailed as a hero, not just for surviving combat, but for bridging two species at war. The galaxy whispered about humans differently now, not as weak, fragile creatures, but as unpredictable, cunning, and courageous, capable of turning the tide where others could not. And somewhere on the colony, Thrissa stood on a balcony, watching the sunset with her armor set aside, contemplating the truths she had shared and the future that a human had made possible. The Queen's legacy had been rewritten. The human's legend had just begun.